All right, let's get into the speaking portion of the meeting. All right. Quick reminder to fill out your evaluation forms. Write their names on the slips. Speaker number 1, Tim Conyers, has been, among other things, a teacher for 20 years. He has decided to permanently step out of the classroom teaching role and enter other pursuits, and has been reflecting back over the years and his teaching experience. Would you please welcome Toastmaster Tim Conyers with his speech entitled, "What Was I Thinking?"
When I was in about the 3rd grade, it was seen that I had sort of a gift for music. I could play songs by ear. I could hear something and kind of pick it out. So I started piano lessons, and before you know it, I was 13 years old and playing in church about 7 miles west of here. And then by the time I was in high school, I was playing for local events and various things. And it seemed like when college rolled around, the only logical choice would be to study music. They said, well, if you're going to get a music degree, you better get a music ed degree. That way you have something to fall back on. It's kind of sad, isn't it, with the arts, that you have to think in terms that way. But it's a reality. Most music teachers will teach and do other things as well. Some will do it for a while, trying to make their big break into the professional world. How many of you seen Mr. Holland's Opus? If you haven't, you would enjoy the movie, I do believe. I taught several years teaching music until I could figure out what I wanted to do with my life. Well, time went on, and that was what I was doing with my life, as it turned out. You see, to be a professional musician and to be able to make it big enough to be able to do just that, it's kind of like the world of sports. It's in my opinion, it's a ratio like this. 1% of the 1% of the best players make it. And that's just the way it is here in modern America. But that's okay. It's been a pretty good run. I think the best thing about teaching is the kids. The worst thing about teaching is the kids. They're terrible. You know, you've heard about, okay, Johnny, it's time for time out. Go get in the corner. Well, I'm all about lights out. Of course, we can't do that. But it's been a study in human nature, no doubt about it. I've taught all levels of music. Many times I was doing all levels in one school, pre-K through 8 in several schools, and sometimes maybe 4th grade to 12th. And I'd be sitting in the teacher's workroom, and one of the teachers would say, well, so, Mr. Conyers, what grade do you like teaching the best? I would say, none of them. In fact, I don't even like kids. They'd say, you're kidding, right? I would say, no. Then I would say, yes, I'm kidding. Well, sort of. Teaching music at the elementary and secondary level is very draining. A lot of people in the outside world just don't know how difficult it can be. Teachers this time of year are done. Aren't they, Kathleen? They're done. They are tired, they are stressed, and they kind of dread the next day. It's not that they don't love the kids, it's just, it's draining. But many have just a really sense of great calling. It is a calling. And I've been blessed to be around so many great teachers that have overcome all the obstacles, and they wouldn't do anything else. I wouldn't trade my experience for anything else with these kids. Well, mostly. I've been with the upper social economic people, the down and out, the up and out, the ones that are in difficult situations. And I found that kids are pretty much the same everywhere, especially elementary and middle school. You know, kids act out what's going on in their psyche. If they're in a difficult situation at home, there's a good chance they're going to be acting out in the classroom. And you have to just learn how to appreciate them. I think it was mentioned earlier about caring about the kids. You know, it's not so much that they're not so interested in what you know. They don't care so much about what you know, but that you care about them. And that's really what it comes down to. I think about some of the students that I've taught. I think about students like Alexa and Tristan. I think about Claire. I think about Johnny. And the list goes on. I think about them a lot. You know, I taught band and choir and musical theater. All of it's been rewarding. You know, when it comes to band, just ask Carson. He'll tell you what it's all about. There have been students that we didn't need them in the band. They didn't have rhythm very well. They had a hard time with it. But they needed band. And because they needed band, I wanted them in there. And it's amazing what it does for them. Sense of accomplishment, sense of belonging. That's a big one. Sense of belonging. Being a part of something greater than they are. I'm coming to the end of my teaching career. I've since it's time to get out of it. But I can't believe I've been so blessed to be able to still do it at my age. When I get in the classroom, you're on stage, and you just have to make it happen. And, you know, the kids haven't been polluted by the things of this world yet. You get a chance to nurture their goodness, and they really are good. I wouldn't trade it for anything. All these students, I know I'll be thinking about them a lot. You don't do it for the money, although it is a good living. It's a respectable living. And I've always had other jobs to go along with it, mostly church music and then gigs and playing out in the community and that sort of thing. But I wouldn't trade it for anything. It hasn't been an easy career, but it's been a good career. You know, the arts, folks, is what brings out the best in us humans. If you're playing in a band, you aren't out on the street, and you aren't causing problems. And you have a greater sense of the goodness of the human condition. I believe it stays with them all the rest of their lives. To think that I've had a chance to be a part of that. You can't put words into what it can do for you. I might find that my next pursuits might be more fulfilling, might be more exciting, but I'm not so sure, Mr. Toastmaster.